One of the ways that dog culture is a lot like communism, dog culture seeks to redistribute everybody's wealth. And it does not do it in a way that is competitive or innovative. It does it in a way that runs on propaganda, which is also a part of communism. So, have you ever heard of a 501c3 tax shelter? So, these are organizations that go around the country on airplanes and buses under the guise, under the propaganda, under the symbol of dog ownership. That's another thing about communism. You have to wear a certain type of armband to indicate that you are kowtowing to the communist regime. That's another thing that dog culture does. They make you get a dog, and as long as you have a dog, that is also a symbol of your compliance being a dog owner. But let's look at this little thing here. So, look what I did. I researched canine, and I'm in a tax shelter organization, and I have 976 results. Okay, so now I'm going to research a dog. So these are organizations that get to take in money without paying taxes. They get to use all of your infrastructure that you paid for as a taxpayer. So now we have 7,331 results. Okay, so let me type in another one just to show you an example of what we're the size of what we're looking at. Now I typed in pit bull. So these are essentially, I know there's a lot more to the conversation, essentially government funded, essentially funded by you, the taxpayer. They don't have to make a profit. They don't have to be innovative. They just have to qualify for a 501c3. And you see all of the pit bull foundations. So check it out. I typed in Cane Corso for the search. Cane Corso is kind of a newer breed, but looks like we got 10 of them that qualify for the 501c3 charitable organization. So these are people that take money and spend money and access your roads and airways and tunnels and rivers and streams and access to pouring wastewater right down the drain while they wash up and get these dogs ready for resale, but they don't have to pay for it. So they're taking your wealth as a taxpayer and they're spreading it around using the guise of these dogs. So, and you can go in here and look at some of these forms. You know, some of them will be in the hundreds of thousands of donations that they take in, and some of them will be like 60,000. But can you go out there and get a job right now and get a $60,000 paycheck and not have to pay taxes? No, you can't. But these rescue organizations, they can. All the while having free access to sidewalks, streets, parks, wastewater systems, and everything else. And whatever they have to pay to access those things, they can claim it and get the money back from you, the taxpayer. That's basically how this works. So these tax exempt organizations, they're spreading your wealth. That's one of the things communism tries to do. It's to spread the wealth to everybody. And they can easily do it through this dog culture thing. They don't have to profit off of it. Yes, all these companies out there can profit off of like dog leashes, extra air filters for your house, all that type of stuff. But they can easily get money from you through this tax exempt thing. So this is not a purely capitalist, purely profit driven thing. Yeah, people are going to make profit off of selling dogs because you can literally label the dog as a virtue signal and people will buy the dog to make themselves look good. Politicians and movie stars do it all the time. But it's not purely profit driven. And dog ownership is not profitable. Remember that. Yes, you can get a YouTube channel or you can like make dog leashes at home, but at the end of the day, the owning of the dog is not profitable. A dog is a huge liability and a huge expense. But those liabilities and expenses of a nationwide dog worshiping country, at the end of the day, those really just become a tax on the citizens and a way for the government to reallocate money. Like a perfect example is when a dog gets rescued off a cliff. Somebody's dog chases a protected goat off a cliff. All of the state and county resources fly in and rescue the dog. They make themselves look good. But at the end of the day, the taxes pay for that. It's a redistribution of wealth. the wealth of your money and the wealth of the infrastructure that you have that's supposed to be for you to enjoy nature, and instead it's used for dogs. So here is one of the activities that those tax shelter organizations do. A plane full of rescue dogs crashes. So there's three people on board. They crashed, the wings sheared off. They call the dogs puppies that were trying to find a loving family. So they're taking these dogs from one state to another state. They're redistributing the wealth. Oh, look at this. Let's go over to a state where they don't have a bunch of stray dogs everywhere and they don't have a bunch of dog attacks. We'll go to a state that's full of stray dogs and bring those stray dogs to another state, make ourselves look good, get a bunch of tax shelter money. Meanwhile, the communities are going to suffer and have to pay more to their government to protect themselves from these dogs. But notice all of the effort that goes into rescuing these dogs. The landing crew has to come up. They got rescuers. They have partner shelters on standby. So those are probably, most of them are those tax shelter organizations. The FAA and National Transport Safety Board are part of this. Now those are all your resources as a taxpayer that they're using to take care of dog problems. FAA, National Transport Safety Board. Those people are supposed to take care of your safety. You are the person that's dealing with dog barking and dog attacks, but they're going to go and take care of the safety of some dogs because a plane crashed. And then, of course, we're going to have the EPA and other cleanup agencies come and take care of all this jet fuel because this plane crashed. 300 gallons of jet fuel were spilled onto a golf course. So the Lake County Fire and Rescue, they have to be part of this cleanup too. These are all your community infrastructure, all of the things that go along with a wealthy nation. They're being dumped and taken away by this dog ownership. And when they're at the end of the day, when this whole crash is done with, when they've calculated all the costs for the local sheriff and cleanup crew and FAA, there's going to be a monetary value at the end of this crash. And when they go to the federal government with their budget next year and they decide if they want to raise taxes on people, if they want to increase the price of food, cigarettes, beer, rent, water, sewage, that's what they're going to do to cover this type of stuff. All the agencies that were involved in this little thing, many of them were tax shelter agencies anyways, but they're still going to come along and say, hey, guess what? We need some more money. We got to raise some taxes. We got to, instead of building a sidewalk over here for people, we need more money to cover these dog crashes. So this is how those tax shelter organizations redistribute your wealth when you didn't vote for this or ask for it, all for the sake of dogs. On my point about dog culture being propaganda driven, I'm going to put this little quote from Hitler in there, but notice what he says. It's part of a great leader's genius to make every wildly separated adversary appear as if they belong to one category. Okay, so dog owners and the general dog culture activities, they think that they're part of one category. Oh, we're out there serving dogs, so we're good people. Even though what they're doing is they're taking away from each other. The dog attacks, the dog money spent on all these rescues, the relationship breakups, the barking. Dog people are actually tearing each other apart in society, but they all think they're part of one category. We're those dog-loving people. We're good people. Yeah, my family dog did kill my toddler, and the neighbor's dog did kill a bunch of chickens, and there's veterinary suicide, but they don't care. They think they're all part of one category as being part of this dog culture. And that is a very strong, tyrannical, communist, fascist element of propaganda, that one category thing. So that's another thing that I'm talking about with all these organizations and stuff. They're highly connected to some of the worst parts of tyranny and communism. So hope you guys like this one. This has been a look at how dog culture does the communist trick of spread your money, and one of the main ways to do it is through these organizations. So they don't necessarily need profit or capitalism to do this to you. because they use that propaganda to make us think we're all part of that dog loving category, and we will line up to dump money into these organizations, and they don't have to claim it on their tax forms, and they don't have to pay taxes on it, yet they still have access to all of our wealth. See you guys later.